Imagine this moment. The bells of Madrid ring across the city. Crowds gather outside the royal palace. Television cameras from around the world focus on a young woman stepping onto the balcony, not as Princess Leonor anymore, but as Queen Leonor of Spain. Millions wonder the same question. What would be her first move? Would she change the monarchy? Would she modernize Spain's oldest institution? Or would she surprise everyone by doing something no one expected? Today, we're exploring a fictional but realistic vision of Queen Leonor's first 100 days on the throne, based on her public image, military training, constitutional role, and the expectations many Spaniards have for the future. Let's begin. The very first day would likely not be filled with celebrations. Instead, it would be filled with responsibility. The moment Leonor became queen, she would immediately begin carrying out constitutional duties that cannot wait. Meetings with government officials, consultations with advisors, and discussions about national priorities would dominate her schedule. Unlike elected leaders, Spain's monarch does not create laws or govern the country. The monarch represents stability, continuity, and national unity. Leonor has spent years preparing for exactly this role. Her military education, language training, and constitutional studies have all been designed for one purpose: preparing her to become head of state. During her first speech as queen, many expect she would focus on unity. Not politics, not ideology, but the idea that every Spaniard, regardless of background or opinion, belongs to one nation. She would likely speak about service rather than power, about responsibility rather than privilege, and perhaps most importantly, about earning the trust of younger generations. That speech could become one of the defining moments of her reign. After addressing the nation, Leonor's attention would likely turn toward transparency. One of the biggest challenges facing modern monarchies is maintaining public confidence. Across Europe, younger generations increasingly expect openness from public institutions. Queen Leonor could respond by encouraging greater transparency regarding royal activities, official spending, and public engagements. Not because tradition demands it, because modern society expects it. Small gestures often matter more than dramatic reforms. Publishing clearer schedules, sharing more information about official work, increasing accessibility through digital platforms. These changes could help reshape how younger citizens see the monarchy. Another priority during the first 100 days might involve reconnecting with Spain's regions. Spain is a country rich in diverse cultures, languages, and traditions. Leonor has already traveled extensively as Princess of Asturias, but as queen, those visits would carry new significance. She could begin a nationwide listening tour. Instead of lengthy ceremonies, imagine meetings with teachers, healthcare workers, entrepreneurs, volunteers, students, scientists, and local community leaders. The message would be simple. The crown exists to serve every part of Spain. These visits would not solve political disagreements overnight, but they could strengthen the symbolic role of the monarchy as a unifying institution. Her military background would also influence her early reign. Leonor has completed demanding training with Spain's armed forces, gaining first-hand experience with soldiers, sailors, and Air Force personnel. Within her first 100 days, she would likely visit military bases across the country. These visits would not be displays of power. Instead, they would demonstrate respect for the men and women serving Spain. Her familiarity with military life allows her to connect with service members in ways few monarchs can. She understands early mornings, physical exhaustion, discipline, teamwork. Those experiences could shape her leadership style for decades. Another area where Queen Leonor might make an immediate impact is youth engagement. Young Spaniards face significant challenges: housing affordability, employment opportunities, mental health concerns, educational pressures. While the monarch cannot directly change government policy, Leonor could use her platform to highlight these issues. She might establish new royal initiatives focused on education, innovation, scientific research, and youth leadership. Scholarship programs, technology partnerships, volunteer campaigns, environmental projects. By supporting these causes, she could inspire civic participation among younger generations. Environmental sustainability could also become a defining theme. Climate change remains one of Europe's biggest long-term concerns. Queen Leonor belongs to a generation that has grown up hearing about environmental responsibility. Within her first 100 days, she could announce efforts to reduce the environmental footprint of royal residences and official events. Simple measures: energy efficiency, sustainable transportation when possible, support for conservation projects. These actions would send a message that tradition and environmental responsibility can coexist. International diplomacy would soon follow. As Spain's head of state, Queen Leonor would represent the country abroad. Her early international visits would likely strengthen relationships with neighboring European countries and longtime allies. Her fluency in multiple languages would become one of her greatest strengths. Speaking directly with foreign leaders without relying entirely on interpreters creates stronger personal connections. International observers have long noted Leonor's confidence during official engagements despite her young age. Those skills would become increasingly valuable. Back at home, another symbolic decision could involve modernizing certain royal traditions. Not eliminating history, but carefully adapting traditions to today's society. Perhaps introducing more public educational programs inside royal institutions. Opening parts of royal residences for cultural events. Supporting historical preservation projects that make Spain's heritage more accessible to everyone. Respecting the past while embracing the future. That balance may become one of Leonor's greatest challenges. One particularly meaningful initiative could focus on volunteerism. Imagine Queen Leonor launching a nationwide campaign encouraging citizens of all ages to contribute to their communities. Helping local charities, supporting elderly neighbors, participating in environmental cleanups, mentoring students. Small acts of service can strengthen national unity more effectively than grand speeches. If Leonor chose to personally participate in these efforts, it would reinforce the message that leadership begins through action. Her relationship with the media would also shape the early months of her reign. Today's media environment moves faster than ever. Every appearance, every photograph, every speech, every expression, will be analyzed instantly across social media. Rather than avoiding this reality, Leonor may embrace careful, authentic communication. Professional, respectful, consistent, not chasing popularity, but remaining visible enough to build public trust. Many experts believe this balance will be essential for future monarchs. Inside the royal household, Queen Leonor may also encourage gradual modernization. Improving administrative efficiency, expanding digital archives, increasing cooperation with educational and cultural institutions, supporting historical research, promoting Spanish art and innovation internationally. Much of this work happens quietly. Yet these behind-the-scenes improvements often define successful reigns. Throughout these first 100 days, one quality would likely stand above everything else. Preparation. Unlike many historical monarchs who inherited the throne unexpectedly, Leonor has spent much of her life preparing for this responsibility. Every official ceremony, every speech, every military exercise, every diplomatic visit, has served as another lesson. Preparation does not guarantee perfection. Every monarch faces criticism, unexpected crises, national challenges, global uncertainty, but preparation creates resilience. That resilience could become Leonor's greatest strength. Perhaps the most important decision Queen Leonor could make during her first 100 days would not involve a specific policy or ceremony. It would involve setting the tone for everything that follows. A monarchy that listens, a monarchy that serves, a monarchy that evolves while respecting tradition. Those first 100 days would not define her entire reign, but they would offer the world its first real glimpse of the queen she hopes to become. Whether history ultimately remembers Queen Leonor as a transformational monarch or a careful guardian of tradition will depend on years, perhaps decades, of leadership. Yet every long reign begins with a single day. And every first day begins with one decision. What kind of queen do you choose to be? Only time can answer that question. If this fictional scenario ever became reality, Spain, and indeed much of the world, would be watching closely. Because the first 100 days of Queen Leonor could shape not only her reign, but also the future image of the Spanish monarchy for an entirely new generation. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this fictional exploration of Queen Leonor's possible future, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think Queen Leonor's first priority should be if she ever ascends the